welcome to World Sim Series, and welcome to the MX5 Cup here at Brands Hatch, the final round of the 6-round championship. We've got a championship battle on our hands between Mendelis and Gonzalo at the top of the standings. 259 for Mendelis, 228 for Gonzalo. It does feel very much like a dot the T's and cross the dot the I's and cross the T's situation here, as Mendelis just needs to really get it over the line, but we've seen crazy things happen here in the MX5 Cup. As always, I'm joined by Lorinas.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Gustas. Hope you're having a good evening. And we're about to get going for the two final runs of the 6th-round championship MX5 on the World Sim Series platform. Qualifying session is well underway and about to finish. Mendelis and Tunila, they are currently holding the top spots in the qualifying session, but both of them are in the pit lane. Lapo also in the pit lane. He was recently third, and now he has been overtaken by Level and Krebs. Level going back to the pit lane himself. So we have only a couple of cars left on the racetrack to try and put in a faster lap time, but it looks like the two heaviest cars on the grid are currently P1 and P2 in the qualifying session, so they should start the first race from the front row.
Yep, first race from the first row, and well, remember that the top 10, not the top 10,
top 5.
Actually for top 5, 5th place is the golden ticket to get pole position for race 2. We've seen these MX5s do great battling, especially in those second races. Ooh, a bit off the road for Brusca there, but stays relatively on track. This is going to be the final lap that anybody can do in the session. Just Krebs, Ramach, and Brusca still on a lap, but Brusca backs out of it, not gonna go quicker. Will we see anybody else cross the line? I think Krebs is the last. Oh, nope, and he's spun around, so that is it. Qualifying session over, and we have Mendelis on pole position, your championship leader so far. Doros Tunila sits in second with Level in third, fourth for Krebs, fifth for Lapo, Cayetano in sixth, seventh for Gudel. Gonzalo, Mendelis' closest championship rival, down in eighth, ninth for Contreras, Bad in 10th, 11th for Getsavicius, 12th for Pleman, Sinica in 13th, L in 14th, 15th for Ramach, and 16th for Azikev, and 17th for Brusca. That is your grid.
One big beautiful division for the final round. No more contestants. I believe it was in the regulations that the top 20 finishers get the invite to the final round. That's why we have only one division battling it out on the British virtual Brands Hatch racetrack. It looks like the grid is being formed now, and we should be ready to get going. Now live stewarding this evening, though the steward is alive and working, but all the incidents and accidents will be revised after the races will finish. So we will not get any info about the drivers who make mistakes and their penalties. But that's going to be decided after the races. So, as always, the results will be preliminarily after we will finish both of the races. And I think we are about to... we're about ready to get going. So, yep, let's have a better shot at those two Dream to Drive cars. Remember, both cars are the heaviest cars on the grid, 35 kilograms each.
And we're off for the penultimate time this season. Mendelis gets a good start, so does Tunila. So down into turn one, the two Dream to Drive cars are going to come side by side. Maybe a bit of a better start for Tunila, who's on the outside, heading down into turn one. And still side by side as they head into turn two. The huge dip of turn one always gives us some action. Still side by side, Mendelis and Tunila come in, but it looks like Mendelis will hold on to the lead. Level jumps up to third, but Mendelis being put under pressure by his Dream to Drive teammate of Toros Tunila, a little bit wide. That gives a chance to Tunila to go to the inside. He's going to try and make it to the inside, and looks like he might just be able to make the move stick. He does. So Tunila takes the lead of the race, but Mendelis super close by, and I'm sure he's going to put up an attack there. To the outside goes Mendelis. Tunila holds the inside. Down the hill they plunge for the first time, and Tunila holds the lead for now. So a little bit settled at the front. Tunila, Mendelis, Lavelle, they're separated by about half a second, all of them, but a little bit more settled than they were through turn 1 and through turn 2. This should be the way they finish the lap. A little bit wide by Lavelle. That's going to give a chance to Krebs, and Krebs going to take the final podium spot off of them now, off of Lavelle now, and that is your order actually changed for the podium.
Yep, Lapo has dropped to P8, and after the start he managed to go up to P4. He started 5th. Then he lost a couple of places. Krebs was 5th after the start. Now he's up to 3rd. So looking for a very good result of the first race, and Cayetano is currently on the provisional pole position for the second race, but of course it's only the beginning of our 2 races of this evening, so he'll definitely be looking for better results, and he's trying to chase down Lavelle. Toros Tunila building out a bigger gap between himself and his teammate. What do you think the strategy of Matas Mendelis is for this afternoon? Will he try to get it all, and would he like to win, or he'll just stay there as where he is and try to pick up as many points as possible?
I think he's going to try and take risks. I don't really see a problem here. He's got a good lead in the championship. Obviously, at the moment, Gonzalo is struggling a little bit down the pecking order, so I think he can try and take a few more risks, try to battle his teammate, but it looks like there's not going to be that much of a chance to do that, as Toros Tunila is extending the gap at the front of the field, but yeah, I don't think they're going to be strategizing too much.
It looks like Toros Tunila has slightly better pace for the race, especially at the beginning of it, and well, he's pulling off from Matas Mendelis already up to 1 second between the 2 teammates. So it looked like that Matas Mendelis has had better pace in the qualifying session. Now during the race it's slightly a different story. Maybe Matas Mendelis is just trying to manage his tires. Remember, all the drivers start the races on very cold tires, and it takes roughly 2 laps to put some proper temperature into the tires. That's Cayetano and Lavelle battling for P4 into turn 1, and Cayetano just lost his pole position for the second race to Lavelle, but he managed to put himself into P4.
Michael Lavelle's struggling a little bit on race pace. We saw him get up to 3rd right off the line, but struggling right now, not gaining any positions. Mendelis as well, 1.1 seconds back from his teammate, and it looked like it wasn't a comfortable pole position, but still, if you take pole, you kind of expect to be up there, but not showing the pace that he maybe needs to take the win. Maybe that's part of strategy as well. Maybe he's just wanting to get the points done, get confirmed as the champion, and then try and pull something out the bag. By the way, Krebs actually closing in, but keeping that gap stable, maybe closing in actually a little bit to Matas Mendelis, so maybe we'll need to put the pedal down a little bit.
Well, he was faster on the previous lap. Looks like during this one, Matas Mendelis is doing a little bit better. The gap is growing. It's now up to 0.9 of a second. And still holding like this. A very nice flow to the racetrack, and I think it's a very great combo, the Brands Hatch circuit with the MX5s. You just need to kind of stay out of late braking on this racetrack to keep the momentum around the corners, and that's your main task, especially when you're left alone fighting with those gaps in front and behind you. So you just need to avoid bigger mistakes and definitely not clipping the gravel outside turn 1 to keep your pace up to the needed speed. 39.0 versus 39.2. So Matas Mendelis, he definitely picked up some pace when the tires got into temperature, but the gap is already way too big to be eliminated, and Toros Tunila still performing a little bit better than his teammate. Not a lot of action this afternoon, a little bit of battles at the very back of the grid. That's Getsavich just fighting with Abad and L for P10, which will not give the drivers the pole position for the second race. You have to fight your way through up to P5 to snatch that pole for the second race. Goodell is actually up to P5, so Livell losing another spot in this first race, and he actually fell out of the reverse grid positions. Already
Yep, so struggling quite a bit in terms of race pace. It's all fixed setup, so it wouldn't be a car that's set up well for qualifying and not set up well for the race. Maybe just a little bit of nerves as he went into the race. He's going to have to get that spot if he wants a good position for race 2. Reminder, top 5 are the cars that actually get reversed, and 5th is your golden ticket for pole position in race 2. Lavelle trying to chase down Goodell. Maybe looks like maybe he's gotten a little bit of that pace back up. Maybe the tires getting back up to temperature. Toros Tunila, by the way, last time round, purple, fastest lap of the race for him, and half a second quicker than Matas Mendelis. So very large difference. Call it unexpected difference. I didn't expect to see that big of a gap, considering that Mendelis was on pole position. So maybe something for Mendelis to look into.
Well, Mendelis told that he didn't have a lot of time to practice, and
well, he got pole position. That's why I'm concerned, because he had pole. Yeah. I kind of would get it if he was, very far off in qualifying, but looks like maybe Toros Tunila was actually unlucky in qualifying and couldn't put a lap together, while Mendelis could.
Yep, most likely. So the qualifying lap of Matas Mendelis was 1:38.7, and the qualifying lap of Toros Tunila was 1:38.8. So Toros already faster than he was during the qualifying session, and his fastest lap time of the race is more than enough for pole position if he would have put in a lap time like this during the quali. So he's up to pace. So it looks like Toros Tunila didn't have a lot of time to practice also, and both of the teammates are kind of building the pace during this race. And 39.2, Matas Mendelis is constantly hitting a very similar times during this race. So it looks like he's just holding on to the pace. He's not looking forwards. I think he's more than happy to finish second in the first one, and that will give him one position higher if he would finish first for the start of the second race, of course.
Yep, that is important, but yeah, looks like Lavelle maybe finally found his pace. Maybe not. He's kind of still losing ground, and Lapo getting closer. And it's still maybe a little bit concerning for Lavelle where that pace has disappeared into. And finally, Matas Mendelis going quicker and maybe stabilizing that gap to Toros Tunila as well.
Well, he was close to the pace of Toros Tunila, but he was not quicker.
Well, he's going quicker than what he was doing before, because he went green.
Yep.
So Mendelis' quickest lap of the race so far. So quicker than he was previously. Toros Tunila slowing down. Looks like maybe he used up all of those tires underneath him. So pace stabilizing on the field. We'll see what happens this time round. Will that gap stabilize at the front? Because Mendelis needs to find something if he wants to do anything in race 2, but as we say that, Toros Tunila goes purple. Matas Mendelis doesn't even improve on his own pace, and actually Krebs went quicker than him, so maybe some issues on his end, because he's not even coming close to the 38.7 that he did in qualifying, and Torres beating his own time that he set in qualifying.
Yeah, but Mendelis, that's I believe the third lap in a row where he hits those 139.2, so he's really stable on the pace. Not sure if he's just managing the pace or he's making small mistakes which end up being laps.
Krebs is getting a bit close to be managing pace here, and everybody else behind him as well. I don't think Matas Mendelis wants to risk getting into battle with these guys. That's his biggest risk. I think battling his own teammate, that's fine. They'll have a bit more respect for each other, I hope. But if he starts to battle the drivers behind, they're not going to wait around. They're going to go for it. So needs to up the pace. Maybe some damage on his car or something. Maybe he hit a curb wrong, because that is very concerning in terms of his pace. Same with Lavelle. You know, he was incredibly quick in qualifying, but losing that time now. Only last time round did he improve to 39.1, actually quicker than what Matas Mendelis is doing.
Yep, but that's another lap, another story. The driver is definitely searching for better pace, and those brake marks, they have heavier cars than they had in the qualifying session. Oh, 140.0, so Matas Mendelis made bigger mistakes. Maybe he's definitely having issues. Cayetano put in a 38.9, that's pretty fast. Lavelle 39.7, so a lot of the drivers had problems during this previous lap, but the biggest slider on the racetrack is Matas Mendelis, and it's getting dangerous.
He's still struggling. He's
Yep.
still losing time. He's now under pressure, so he's now going to think, how do I defend my position here? So the pole sitter, really not in the best position. 2.5 minutes to go, so I think next time by, that's going to be final lap. To the outside goes Krebs, and he's going to try and make a move down the back straight, and it looks like he's actually going quicker down that back straight. So could it be maybe some kind of power issue, because Krebs has now gotten in front of Matas Mendelis. Maybe an issue with the pedals, maybe an issue with a little bit of damage somewhere, because you saw Krebs just went right around Mendelis down that back straight. We'll see what Cayetano can do. I don't think Mendelis is at risk of dropping out of the top 5, but still, we'll see how many laps will Torres have left as he crosses the line. I think it's going to be tight. Maybe he'll just back off a little bit just to ensure that his teammate can complete another, doesn't need to complete another lap. And yep, they're going to be safe. So a white flag in the air for Torres, and that means final lap for him and final lap for everybody behind as well. So Matas Mendelis back on kind of pace, I'd call it. Torres purple again goes with a 38.721, and that's about 1,000 of a second quicker than he went before.
Oh.
To the outside, well, inside, that turns the outside now for Matas Mendelis, so Krebs making a mistake as well. That second place, not really great for anyone. We'll see if Matas Mendelis can make a move.
And that's 2 seconds between P2 and P6, so any bigger mistake...
By the way, huge battle as well for 5th. We can't really show you that because this is a battle for 2nd place. Mendelis going to the outside as Krebs went last time, and also gaining some speed, but has to back out of it early. This might be a chance for Cayetano to make a move, but Lavelle and Gudel almost side by side at one point. In terms of gaps I saw, looking back, you can kind of see them battling in the background. This is from the back of Krebs. Matas Mendelis getting closer and closer, but not close enough just yet. And I don't think he's going to be close enough. Krebs just needs a good exit. Oh, a little bit on the grass. That's not perfect, but I don't think that's going to ruin his run. Krebs will hold on to it. Lavelle from P3 on the grid, down to 6th in the race and going to lose pole. So Gudel will be on pole, but Torres wins the race ahead of Krebs. And your pole sitter, Mendelis, who I think is now confirmed as champion of the season. Gudel will take the honors of starting race 2 on pole. Alongside him, we'll have Cayetano, and Matas Mendelis will be in third because he finished this race in third.
Yep, so that's it for the first race. We'll have a short break between the two races, and we can use this chance to take a quick look at the championship standings as they were before entering this round. So Matas Mendelis came here as the championship leader with 259 points. He started and finished all 5 races. Gonzalo was second with 228 points. Meškelis, who is absent in this race, he has 214 points. Cayetano 211, and Lapo fifth with 209 points. Of course, as we know, the regulations have one drop round, so the worst results of the seasons for the drivers who started and finished 6 races will be dropped, and the results will change slightly, but I think Matas Mendelis has healthy gap either way, and if he'll be able to hold on to the top 5 places in the second race, he should easily clinch the championship of this 6th round championship on the World Sim Series platforms. The final round, and 17 drivers present, and I think we'll have a slightly bigger battle in the second race as usual, because the top 5 finishers of the first race will start in a reversed order, so Toros Tunila will be hoping for a better start. But don't forget that Toros Tunila and Matas Mendelis have cars that have 35 kilograms of additional weight. Krebs has 10 kilograms, Livell has 10 kilograms, Yuri Lapo has 20 kilograms of added weight, and Pleman, driver who finished 10th, has 5 kilograms on his weight. All other drivers have usual weight on their cars, so they have the pace that they want. So Goodell on pole position.
Will be Goodell starting out in front, ahead of Cayetano, Mendelis, Krebs, Tunila, and then Livell, Lapo, Gonzalo, Contreras, and Pleman. That's your grid for race 2. We'll see who's able to take the win tonight, and the final win of the MX5 Championship this season. 5 seconds until the lights go out as they all come on. And we're off. And we start racing here. Beautiful start from
Cayetano.
Cayetano to take the outside down into turn 1. Difficult to spot between the two, but actually, yep, Toros Tunila up into third place immediately. Beats Matas Mendelis off the line and beats Krebs off the line as well, but Krebs side by side with Mendelis. Maybe Mendelis will be able to hold on to 4th at least, but no, Krebs to the inside here. Cayetano to the inside of Goodell, but Goodell keeps the lead because Toros Tunila now goes to the inside of Cayetano. Maybe he'll try to make a move on Goodell as well. We'll see if that move can happen. Yep. To the inside goes Toros Tunila, just as he did on Mendelis in the same exact spot, but not enough just now. Toros Tunila obviously with that BOP weight, and Goodell does not have any BOP weight. Might be easier for him. Cayetano getting the slipstream from Goodell, but I think Toros Tunila will hold on to keep second place. He does, and he can now chase down on Goodell. Somebody off really wide, and this is Matas Mendelis in the middle of your screen. To the inside, he tries to go off Cayetano, but that could actually lose him a place to Yuri Lapo right behind. To the inside once again, Mendelis. He's going to be on the outside for the next turn, but he may just be able to hold on if he gets a good run through there. It's a banked corner, so you can kind of go side by side a little bit onto the grass. Now he's going to be back on the inside line into the final turn. Toros Tunila showing his nose a little bit there for the lead, and I think touch off the road, Mendelis and Cayetano, and that is, well, Mendelis' chance for a podium to round out the season gone.
Oh yeah, he'll have full hands-off job right now. He dropped down to P11 and still has no pace down the straight. He went to the gravel outside of the racetrack and it stops your car quite dramatically. And Cayetano dropping to P15. So definitely some work for our race control after the race will finish. Not sure who's to blame in that situation. It looked like a very small contact, but with huge consequences for both of the drivers. Both of them have gone off the racetrack, and that's going to be
lap 1. I think that's going to be called a racing incident.
Yeah, that should be.
We're battling hard, and it looked quite fine, but we're not the stewards. The stewards will have their own investigation at the end of it. But now Toro Stanila again to the outside of Gudel. He comes around the outside. He's made the move stick up into the lead of the race. Can he make it? 2 out of 2 here at Brands Hatch. Touch between Krebs and Gudel, and Krebs to the inside, and now Krebs is up into second where he finished the race last time out. We'll see if he can try and chase down Toro Stanila, but looking at his pace last time, well, in race 1, I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll keep an eye out on this battle. We'll keep an eye out on Matas Mendelis' recovery as well.
So he's down in P10, has a little bit of room between himself and Synica, and he'll be definitely chasing. But Brands Hatch is a circuit where you don't have a lot of points to overtake, and that's a little bit of waiting game. Try to be faster than your rival and find the correct spot on the racetrack for those moves. These are pretty short races, so that's going to be a really difficult task.
He's got that ballast on him as well.
Yep.
It's going to make it a bit more difficult to actually make those moves. But we saw Toro Stanila do it quite easily on cars that don't have any ballast, so we'll see if Matas Mendelis can do the same as his teammate did.
Yep, Cayetano up to P13. He was down in P15 after that accident, and he's trying to recover as well. So he's definitely slightly faster than the drivers in front, and he doesn't want to wait too long. But as you could see, it's not the easiest racetrack to make those moves happen. By the way, we missed the incident of Yuri Lapo. He's dead last, 17th, and he started in the top 10s in the second race, so he was also not able to avoid any troubles in the opening laps. And we have a couple of
actually up 4th, and he's looks like he might be battling right here with Gonzalo. Actually, Gonzalo, good recovery for him as well. Oh, off the road goes Lavelle and gives a place up to Gonzalo very, very easily. So 3rd on the grid and down to, well, 3rd on the grid for race 1. Went down to 6th in race 1. And started in 6th, went up to 4th, and now back down to 5th. Difficult race for Lavelle today.
Yep. Group of cars is forming up in the battle for P7. Matas Mendelis is the 4th car in this group. He's still a little bit off of the 3 cars that are in a battle, but that's not going to take too long. And it looks like JL is right on the tail of Matas Mendelis. So Matas Mendelis struggling with that additional weight on his car, and
it's a little bit of damage as well from the incident.
Oh, someone's running wide. I think that was Synica, who went straight on the grass. No, it was Abad, and Synica is just trying to take that position. Made a mistake. There's your chance for Matas Mendelis. Definitely he will be pushed out to the outside. What about L? He's running behind, trying to fit in between the cars in front. Decides to take a normal racing line.
Same move as Toro Stanila did for the lead, round the outside, and gets it done relatively easily.
Yep, and Abad was again traveling off the racetrack and finds himself getting back on the circuit right in front of Matas Mendelis. But, well, it was a little battle, a small battle between Matas Mendelis and Synica. Oh, Abad again off the racetrack.
Ooh.
And Matas Mendelis lost quite a lot of time, so he's already 1.5 seconds behind Pleman. Pleman losing positions. He was right behind Livell. Now he's behind Getsavicius. So a lot of car shuffling in the second race, and drivers are kind of not avoiding mistakes on the racetrack. So
interestingly, a lot of changes outside of the top 5, where actually we had that reverse grid. Everybody else started just as they finished in race 1, so interesting to see so many cars having issues.
Yep, so clipping the gravel might cost you up to 2 or maybe 3 tenths in one lap, so definitely a place on the racetrack to avoid in these cars if you don't want to have slow lap times. But well, you want to perform, you try to push as hard as possible, and it's always easy to go a little bit wide on the exit. And looks like the drivers are kind of on the mission to go as fast as possible. 1 minute 41.4 was the previous lap time of Bleman, so he lost around 2 seconds on the final run. Matas Mendelis won 40.2, so he has also lost a little bit of time while battling Synica. Synica in trouble again, and same move. So JL made the very similar move to Matas Mendelis and Tauras Tunila, who done that before. The previous one, JL definitely saw that through his front shield, as Matas Mendelis performed that action 1 lap ago, and he managed to replicate it on the very same driver. So Synica down to P10.
Yep, that looks like a move that's favored by many. It looks like it works, so interesting that they can make a move around the outside on a turn where you're carrying a lot of speed on entry. So, yeah, very interesting that they can make such easy moves here.
Yep, so it looks like the drivers who tend to find themselves stuck in the inside of the corners, they kind of drop a little bit too much of the pace while trying not to go into the side of their rivals, and that's more than enough for the drivers who find themselves on the outside, and they risk a little bit more because they have room outside. Tauras Tunila just put in the fastest lap of this evening so far, 1 minute 38.6, so he's still finding and searching for pace. One can only imagine how much faster Tauras Tunila could go if he would have a lighter car. Because, well, you have to carry those 35 kilograms around the corners and down those long straights. That's definitely, well, at least 2 tenths per lap.
Maybe more. You know, this car, it doesn't have a lot of power. With those higher powered cars, sure, it's a bit easier to manage this, but with the low powered nature of the MX5s, I think it's maybe even a little bit more than just a few tenths of a second that they lose throughout the lap.
Yep, so good performance by Tauras Tunila. Matas Mendelis making a small mistake. He was right on the tail of Bleman, but I think he just made a small mistake down the braking zone on the final section of the racetrack. I think it was the Stirling's corner where Matas Mendelis lost it. Now he has to pick up some more pace. P8, that might still be enough for Matas Mendelis to clinch that championship. He was way ahead in the lead, so not bothering about that, just trying to have as much fun as possible because it's only 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to finish off this MX5 championship. And for some of the drivers it's gonna be a better result than for the others. Tauras Tunila missed a couple of races because of his traveling plans. He was driving and visiting some real racetracks around the globe. I believe one of the circuits was Barcelona. So
yep,
he's not
had to miss a few runs, and his biggest rival, Jan Nims, at the start of the season was missed a few rounds as well. So that's how kind of the championship shaped up towards the end.
Yep. It's a shame that we've lost Jan Nims out of this championship. He still is one of the fastest drivers on the World Sim Series platform, no matter what car he chooses to drive. We will have to wait for the upcoming championships to see the German name driving those virtual cars around the virtual circuits. but it left the door open for the other guys to try and compete and clinch those championship titles. And well, this final round, it doesn't come with a lot of surprises.
Pretty rare that you see somebody that's not named Yandims win a championship here in World Series, but yeah, something unique. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go, so 2 more laps for everyone.
Yep, so Cayetano up to P10 from that 15th place where he dropped after that contact with Matas Mendelis. Matas up to P8, and he's kind of stuck there. He was really close to Pleman at one point, but that small mistake, it gives you a lot of headache, and Matas Mendelis lost quite a lot of chances to try and make his life a little bit easier. I think P6 is still possible, but not higher than that, and he still needs to perform quite well, avoiding all the mistakes that, well, he's currently up to during this second race.
Yep, I think both races he hasn't had the pace that maybe we've expected to see from him. But then again, he only needs to win the championship here, so doesn't need to do anything heroic. He just needs to get that car to the end and make sure he scores the points that he does.
And basically that's very similar to the whole championship that Matas Mendelis has had during this season. I remember races where, well, he was fast, but he was constantly making mistakes and then surprising everyone with beautiful comebacks. So a very similar race this afternoon for Matas Mendelis, as he and the other drivers will start the final lap of this championship. And there's a battle right in front of Matas Mendelis. Maybe that's the chance of the Lithuanian to try and finish off this race at a slightly higher position. He's currently 8th, and he's looking into finishing this race at P6, 39.2, back to his normal pace, race pace, as he performed during the previous one. And so far, that's the fastest lap by Matas Mendelis that he managed to achieve.
Up to the inside goes Mendelis, trying to make the move. I think he's going to just about make it stick, but no, still side by side. That's get Savage just to the outside. Well, it's going to turn to the inside and actually sticks around in front. That's kind of the effect of that extra weight that he has on his car. Can't really make those moves down the straights. Cayetano now back into it because L goes way off the road, and Cayetano is going to pick up 9th, so right behind Matas Mendelis now. Will Cayetano try to get in front? I don't think he'll have much of a chance, but I'm sure he'll put everything he can into it, as the clock will run out in just 6 seconds time. Mendelis defends from Cayetano. Cayetano now to the outside. We've seen this before with them swap places. Touch off the road. And, well, first time it looked like a racing incident. This time, Cayetano touches the grass and runs straight into the side of Matas Mendelis, as Toros Tunila wins the final race to make it a double tonight here at Brands Hatch, with Krebs finishing in, with Gudil finishing in 2nd, 3rd for Krebs, 4th for Gonzalo, 5th for Lavelle, 6th for Pleman, Getsavicius in 7th. 8th for Cayetano, L in 9th, 10th for Sinitsa, 11th for Lapo, Mendelis all the way down in 12th, 13th for Contreras, Abad in 14th, 15th for Brusque, Azikev in 16th, and 17th for Ramach. That is your grid. That's how they take the checkered flag in the final race of the MX5 Cup here on World Sim Series. It's been a super exciting season this year. Matas Mendelis takes the crown and wins the championship. And, well, if you want to participate in any of these races, head on over to worldsimseries.com, sign up for free, and race in any of the championships hosted by World Sim Series. Next time out on Thursday, we're heading to the EBA TCC, and I believe the final round of the EBA TCC.
Yep, straight to Poland. The track name is Poznan, with those low-powered 325 Cup BMWs. They don't race on slicks, they race on semi-slicks, and well, we usually have quite a lot of action on the racetracks. a big competition. We have real drivers mixed with the virtual sim racers, so always nice racing action presented. So stay tuned and hope you've enjoyed this final race of the MX5 Cup Championship. As Gustas mentioned, if you want to join the racing party, just go to the World Sim Series platform. 2 major championships have ended. I'm pretty sure there's more in front. Stay tuned with all the news and updates on the very place where World Sim Series platform is located. I think that's it for now. We will wish you a pleasant evening and meet you on Thursday.
Have a good night.